Arizona really does hate me. Hi. Oh shit, how do I do this? Okay, we're not gonna sit up there. Okay. No, I don't like that. Hold on. That's better. Hi. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I just made myself a coffee. It's 3:30 right now, I think. It's a little late, but you know, whatever. I don't have to be up at a certain time or go to sleep at a certain time. So, as you may have guessed, I'm not in the superstitions anymore. I am as far south as I can go without crossing into Mexico. So there's a hint. The weather was turning, and this place is kind of like the only place that was going to be sunny for the next couple of weeks. So I decided to move on out of the superstitions, because as someone who lives on the road, I rely heavily on solar, and my Jackery was going down to like 30%, and that just wasn't gonna cut it for me. But the campsite I'm at now, it's on a range, like a military range, and you have to complete a safety brief online in order to get access to it. And as you may have guessed, that was not Anytime Fitness. There's no Anytime Fitness in this area, so I looked at one of the local gyms and decided to purchase like a week pass, since I'll be here for maybe a week and a half. Actually, I have to be here for 2 weeks now, since my dumb self bought or ordered something off of Amazon thinking that it would come in about a week, but no, it's not coming until like next Wednesday, which kind of sucks because I have to be here an extra week. The purpose of this video is to talk about how my traveling and all the outdoor stuff that I do solo, hiking, camping, and traveling in general, helped with my anxiety. So let's start like back. When I was younger, my anxiety was really bad back then. To put into perspective, I wasn't able to like go to a store by myself or even go through a drive-through by myself. So I would have to ask my friends to come with me, or at least like one other person just to come with me, just so I could feel, I don't want to say safe, but have some sort of like a peace of mind to go into the store to get something or go to a drive-through to get food, because I was just completely terrified. I've gotten a lot better, and I'll explain why that is, or how I've improved my anxiety. It's still there, obviously, but it's a lot better now than it was when I was young. So a little bit about me. I grew up in California. As you all know, California is like a really beautiful place to live. Where I grew up in Sacramento, like 2 hours east you have the Sierras, and then 2 hours west you have the SF area, Marin County. I was outside a lot as a child because it was a different time. We didn't have internet then, so I would be outside playing with the neighborhood kids, with my brother, etc. I was a huge reader as a child, and one of the books I read was My Side of the Mountain, and it was about this kid who like ran away from home into the mountains, and he was living inside like this redwood, I think, trunk that he dug out, and he trained a hawk to like catch his food for him. So like that stuck with me. I was like, this is really cool. But my first experience with the great outdoors was my sophomore year in high school, when we went camping at Yosemite National Park for one of my like gifted programs that I was in. I didn't start hiking a lot until after high school. My friends at the time, they didn't like the outdoors as much, so I decided to just go on my own. And it was a little nerve-wracking because this was before you had a GPS with you at all time. This was the days where you had to look up the trail on alltrails.com, the website, not the app, and then plug in the coordinates to, say, MapQuest, if you know, you oldies remember MapQuest. And you have to print out the directions there and back and just pray you don't miss an exit. And there were times to where I would drive all the way to the trailhead and I couldn't even find the trailhead, and I would just have to drive my ass back home. So being out on the trails by myself gave me a lot of time to think about things and gave me a lot of perspective about my problems, or it feels a lot smaller than what I had thought in my head, if you guys know what I'm saying. Like compared to the vast wilderness, my problems are absolutely tiny. And that allowed me to just work through whatever it was I was going through at the time. Fast forward years later, I joined the military. I joined kind of late. I joined at 27, which was, I don't know. I had a quarter life crisis and I was like, I needed to get out of California, and I just figured the military was the quickest way to do so. So I did that, and then I was lucky enough to be stationed on the East Coast, first in North Carolina and then in Maryland. So each year I would drive back to California to visit my friends and family on the West Coast, and that was when I fell in love with the road. Being on the road gave me a lot of peace. I'm someone who is not afraid to be alone with his thoughts. I like being alone. I love solitude. But the road really just gave me the most peace I've ever felt. I could just get on the road, turn off my brain. I wouldn't have to think about anything and just drive. So while I was in the military, I wasn't hiking a lot because, as you all know, at least where I was, the outdoor scene wasn't that great. Fort Bragg was where I was stationed in North Carolina. So you'd have to drive 4.5, 5 hours west to the Appalachians or the Smokies just to hike. And I know there are like trails around, but it just was not my jam. I didn't go hiking every weekend like I would when I was living in California. So whenever I would get a chance, I would go like drive that 4 or 5 hours to the Smokies, but those were just very few and far between. So whenever I would get a chance to go on leave to go back home, and that was when the road kind of became the peace that I was looking for. And it also allowed me, hiking was what I was using to work through my issues. Now it was the road because it was just a place where I felt safe. It gave me a lot of peace of mind. The road became something that I used to work through my issues. So yeah, I realized the road was where I felt most at home. I felt safe, free, and my anxiety kind of just disappeared whenever I would be on a long drive. I'm rambling a lot. I don't even know how this video is going to turn out, to be completely honest with you. all that to say, solo hiking, solo traveling, this whole road life has given me so much more than I ever thought possible, and I really don't see it end in sight. But yeah, that's kind of my story about traveling and anxiety and how this lifestyle or being alone has helped with my anxiety. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. This is kind of different. I'm not hiking up a peak or anything. The weather is turning. I can feel it. Spring is coming, and then I can move further north. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Peace. Goddamn, Tien. You are... That was a mess.